Okay, so you know what? Some people think it's kind of weird that Donald Trump told people to buy in the morning and in the afternoon announced lifting those tariffs, sending the stock averages to the moon. Went to the moon, baby. So some of the Democrats are talking about investigating Trump for insider trading. This is Chris Murphy.
Questions about the tariff announcements today: who benefited and who made money? And this should matter to you too, because this could be an enormous scam. What we know is that about 9:30 today, Trump posts on social media that people should buy. It's a good time to buy. And then 3 hours later, guess what? He announces that there's going to be a 90-day suspension of many of the tariffs. Predictably, the market, which had been crashing, shoots up, and anyone who made investments early today likely made a lot of money. And so the question is, who close to Trump knew that he was going to suspend the tariffs? Which of his Mar-a-Lago friends or his billionaire advisors were able to capitalize on that inside information? Why did Trump send out that post to his supporters earlier in the day? The bottom line is that the chaotic nature of this tariff policy, with Trump's position changing every single hour, gives ample opportunity for any individual who has early access to information about the White House's change in position to make boatloads of money, either by investing at the right time or pulling their money out of the market at the right time. This entire White House is one giant grift. Donald Trump and his friends are in power in order to use their access to government to make money. It stinks, and we should get to the bottom of it.
Okay. All right. So the House Committee on Financial Services then quote tweets Donald Trump's "This is a great time to buy." Hours before his 90-day tariff pause announcement, the President of the United States is literally engaging in the world's biggest market manipulation scheme. So here from our friends at Hotspot there, they demonstrate here on the chart. All right, so if you look at the bottom there, you can see there's a small spike before the announcement and then the bigger spike when the public gets wind. So just before Trump posted buy on Truth Social, some group of people opened big US stock market call options and got a 20-minute head start. Now, that's pretty incontrovertible proof that you had insider trading. Why would you have a spike like that? Now, that does not mean we covered earlier what the reasoning was behind changing the tariff policy. I don't think this was the plan all along. I think there were people who knew he was going to do this who decided to cash in. And who's going to hold them accountable with this crew, right? NASDAQ call volume spiked minutes before the 90-day tariff pause was announced. Not a good look at all. Somebody asked, why is this bad? I don't understand. Someone knew and traded in front of the news. And again, yeah, why would you have that spike right before the announcement? What would account for that? Same with the spy calls. You got this big spike on the spy calls right before the announcement.
You also seem to have the same kind of minor spike ahead of
Right.
the tweet there too,
Yeah.
right? There's
Well,
that
yeah, and
small
then you
spike.
right, and then you got the public.
Right, because the announcement was the announcement that the tariffs are paused.
Well, that's where you get the big spike.
Right.
The
exactly.
little spike is the insider trading.
That's the tweet, right?
Right. We just witnessed the biggest financial crime in history. Donald Trump told followers to buy DJT on his own app, then paused tariffs, spiking his stock. So this is the Truth Social stock he's talking about. DJT went from $16 to nearly $22 in hours. That's insider trading. Martha Stewart went to prison for less. And this is the timeline. 9:35, Truth Social stock trading at 16. 9:37, President posts buy DJT. 9:40, the stock jumps to 18. Later that day, after his announcement, the stock peaks near 22. Now remember, Trump has not divested from his holdings. He personally profits from this. If you brought 10,000 shares at 16 and sold them by 433, you would have made $60,000, a 22% return on investment after 7 hours. That's textbook insider trading. Even more suspicious, at 9:35, there were just 3,300 trades of DJT stock. By 9:40, that number exploded to 134,000 trades. This wasn't just a tip, it was a signal to wealthy insiders to execute the scam. Okay. So here's our illustrious president in the Oval Office bragging about how much money his billionaire friends made off his announcement.
This is Charles Schwab. It's not just a company, it's actually an individual. And he made $2.5 billion today, and he made $900 million. That's not bad. He's in financials. I've always been following.
That's Charles Schwab, who was in the Oval Office, who supposedly was one of the people who persuaded him to do this. He made $900 million there. He's in financials. Yeah. Okay. Michael Tracy can't get over how the little week-long Main Street versus Wall Street rhetorical tangent culminated yesterday with Charles Schwab in the White House and Trump merrily relaying that he made $2.5 billion off administration-induced market fluctuations. Nobody does snark like Michael Tracy.
Yeah.
So Adam Schiff, I'm writing to the White House to demand who knew in advance that the president was gonna once again flip-flop on tariffs, and are people cashing in? All right, so that video's been going around, but we already got the gist of it. We have some exclusive footage of Adam Schiff confronting Donald Trump in the Oval Office about insider trading. Here we go.
How can you close me up? On what ground?
I'm shocked to find that gambling is going on in here.
You're winning, sir.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah, Adam, that was where you're only going to see that here. So yes, Adam Schiff is shocked to find out that gambling is going on in the casino. Apparently, he's never heard of someone named Nancy Pelosi. Strangely, given that she was Speaker of the House for quite some time. Let's hear a little bit about Nancy Pelosi and insider trading.
Breaking news. Congressmember Nancy Pelosi is up 23% on her NVIDIA call options, and NVIDIA stock just hit all-time highs. And Nancy Pelosi's NVIDIA call options have made her nearly $500,000 in under 2 months, more than double her annual salary of $223,000. Follow us on Twitter and track Congressmembers' trades at unusualwhales.com.
And Unusual Whales is a good site to track if you want this kind of news. Let's see what Pelosi said when they asked her about stopping members of Congress from trading.
Congress and their spouses be banned from trading individual stocks while serving in Congress?
No, I don't know to the second one. We have a responsibility to report in the stock, on the stock, but I'm not familiar with that 5-month review, but if people aren't reporting, they should be.
Why should they be banned?
Because this is a free market and people, we are a free market economy. They should be able to participate in that. Yes, ma'am.
All right. So
Should be able to participate.
yeah. So the Democrats are very much Frenchy in Casablanca with their shock and horror at this insider trading, as you could see from the charts. And again, I don't think this was the plan all along, but I think people around Trump certainly took advantage of it. And it seems with his encouragement, given his bragging about how much money they made off of that stock fluctuation, off of his announcements. But for the Democrats to run around like they're shocked and horrified that there's insider trading going on. With Nancy Pelosi, the estimates range from 150 to 250 million that she's made since she's been in Congress. The way they work the scam is her husband is a trader. He does the trades. She gives him the information. anyone who's going to say, well, that's just normal trading. Nancy Pelosi beats all of the best money managers in the world every single year. Warren Buffett is a piker compared to Nancy Pelosi's returns. It is mathematically impossible that she is not trading on insider information. And it's not just her. It's not just her. She's just one of the most glaring examples. So yes, clearly inside trading went on around these announcements. Clearly no one is going to hold these people accountable, but the Democrats certainly do not have any moral authority to feign shock and outrage at that kind of behavior.
Yeah, no, I mean that much is obvious. I think both of those things are obvious, as you said. Which is why those accusations. I won't say they ring hollow, but it is tough to go there as a party, as a line of attack. I mean, talk about throwing stones from a glass house, right? They are better off just sticking with the message that Trump basically was on course to tank the markets, drain people's retirement, and then got cold feet when it became obvious that the course he chose was going to be disastrous, because that is what happened.
Right.
For all of this cope about art of the deal and how he knew this was going to happen all along. That's just nonsense. There's too many videos and tweets of Donald Trump promising not to do what he did, number one, but also his surrogates, his cabinet members arguing that it was in the best interest of America to do it. Well, Elon having a meltdown, that whole spat with Navarro, and then just, informal surrogates like Batyar Ungar Sargon coming out here talking about how this is class war on behalf of the worker. Well, what do you have to say now? What do you have to say now? It's crazy. But look, these people are all very short-term thinkers. Our whole economic philosophy is short-term thinking. It's all about quarterly numbers, right? So, of course, the people who are most invested in the market think every single day this is how they think. How do I make a buck today? Well, of course.
It's a racetrack.
Right, it's a racetrack. So, of course, when it tanks, they're already thinking, hey, how can we make this work to our advantage? You saw that bump, as Hotspot put out. If that was 20 minutes before the tweet came out, that tells you some people in the inner circle had advanced knowledge. And so there's almost no question in my mind that some of that took place. Yeah,
of course. But there will be no investigation under this government, which, again, I don't want to make it a partisan thing. That's why I threw that in. You wouldn't have an investigation if that happened under Biden either.
I'm sure there are Democrats and Democrat donors implicated in that insider trading, just as there are Trump allies.
That's probably true.
Please clap.